everyone, thanks so much for watching. I'm Courtney, owner and designer of Wreath in Hand. We're gonna get started making our wreath by cutting our 10.5 inch by 10-yard mesh. This is a thin stripe fabric mesh, and we're going to be using our self-healing cutting mat as well as our rotary cutter, and we're going to be cutting 12 pieces at 20 inches. And I'm just going to clean up the edge a little bit just to straighten her out. And we're going to cut 12 pieces at 20 inches. Next, we're going to be cutting our ribbon tails. These are the two ribbons I'm using. I'm going to be cutting 12 pieces at 13 inches. Now that our ribbon tails are cut, we can go ahead and move on to prepping our wreath frame. This is a 14-inch frame that we're going to be using today, and we're going to be wiring it up with some Chanel stuff. To wire the frame for this style of wreath, because we're making a pancake style wreath, which means it's a thin wreath that can fit between a storm door, but they're also good for craft shows because you can sell them for a more affordable price, which is what I am prepping for. I'm getting ready for a craft show on April 6th. This is April 6th, 2025. So this video, I think, will be up. It depends. I have a bunch of videos ready to be posted, but all I did to wire this is on all 6 of the cross frames on the top 2 rows, I added a Chanel stem, and then I kind of go from this corner to that corner, so you kind of diagonal it, and then in between the top 2, you're gonna go in between in the middle. And I like to attach it on the uppermost ring. I just think it holds better. So if your wires are loose, try doing that. I finished adding the ribbon onto the bottom layer, and this ribbon is so pretty. This green, I believe it's a kiwi color. It's really pretty. I was worried that like the red and green, it would give Christmas, but I think it's a very bright, well, I guess kind of bright, I don't know, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't say Christmas. But I like Christmas, so you know what, that's okay. Either way. Any hoosers. We're going to move on to the top layer. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to ruffle our mesh. What have you guys been up to? What movies have you watched? Are you reading any books? Are you on spring break? What's going on? My daughter is not on spring break right now. She doesn't go on spring break till April, which is fine. And okay, so now that we got our ruffle, the same thing, we're going to place it on top. We're not going to untwist it from the frame. And then we're going to give it a couple twists and then fold over, overlap them. The weather here has been really weird. I'm in SoCal, basically the desert where I live, and it was raining, pouring, like hailing just a couple, I think 2 weeks ago or something, and then it got really cold, and then it got really hot just a couple days ago, and now it's windy and it feels a little chillier. Like it was 80 degrees yesterday, and then today I'm wearing a sweater. What's going on here? Once you've added all the mesh onto the top layer, you can add your ribbon in, and it's the same thing as on the bottom. You're just going to layer them on top of each other, pinch it in the middle, fold it over just like that, and again untwist it from the mesh and place it on top. Push down a little to get it tightened down. Give it quite a few twists. Snip off the nub and then push it to the back. And then you're going to fold them out to open them up. And then that's what it looks like with all the ribbon. And honestly, if you just wanted to add the sign, you could totally do that. That looks really cute, just like that. But I want to add a bow. So that's what I'm going to add the sign. Actually, before I make the bow, it already has holes in it. So I'm just going to use some floral wire to attach it down into the frame, and then we'll make our bow. We're going to get started making our bow. I'm starting off with a 2.5 inch ribbon, and I'm going to be making a 8-inch tail. I'm just going to pinch it, put it into the bow maker, and then twist it on the opposite side of the tail. And for a loop size, I think I'm going to do a 5.5. Yes, I'm going to do a 5.5 inch loop on each side. So I'm going to measure out to 5.5. And then put it in the bow maker and then twist the other side. Again, measure out to 5.5. And then I'm going to cut my tail. I'm going to just eyeball it from the other side. Next, we're using a 1.5 inch ribbon, and I'm going to measure out the same tail length. And for this one, I'm going to go down 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go down to 5 inches. Again, I'm just going to make my loop, and then when it's on the other side, I'm going to pinch it. If you would like to see more tutorials, check out all my other videos on my channel. Next, we're adding our ladybug ribbon, and this ribbon is not directional. The ladybugs go all kinds of ways, so you can just put it in however. I'm going to make the same tail length, and I'm going to go down 1/2 inch. So our first one was 5.5 and then 5, so now we're at 4.5. And again, when it's on the other side, just give it a good twist. And if you need help making bows, I recommend getting a bow maker. Making bows by hand can be kind of challenging, especially if you're working with multiple ribbons. The next ribbon is a fair silk ribbon. It's a 1 inch, and yeah, I know fair silk is not an affordable ribbon, but this was the only size, this was the size I needed, so that's what I'm going to use, and I'm just using a little bit, so it's fine. I'm going to measure out the same length, and I'm going to go down to 4 inches. And make sure you give it a good twist. Fair silk ribbon is very thick. The wire in it is thick. And for these ribbons, I like to just roll up the bottom a couple times. When you do have these ribbons, because they're so thick, they will weigh down your other ribbons. So just keep that in mind when you're using that, if you do that. To get it off the bow maker, you're going to push down and then grab it from underneath, slip it off. Okay, and try not to let your ribbons move around. You're going to take a zip tie and you're going to feed it to the back. And before you tighten it all the way down, slip your chenille stem in the back. That way you have something to attach it to the wreath. I like using the zip tie because it holds all the ribbon together, and I feel like you can really, like, you know, manhandle the ribbon, I guess. So that's why I like the zip tie. I don't have to worry about it coming coming loose or separating. And now we can attach it into the wreath. I have these really cute butterfly embellishments. They're, I believe, a wood. It looks and feels like a wood material, but on the back, they're felted. So I have 5 of them. I'm going to put one here, 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 and then right here. I'm going to put one right in the middle. For these ones, I'm going to cut off like a little bit from the wire so I can glue it down. And I think it might be cute to kind of have it like not fully flat down, just give it a tiny little bit of lift. I don't want to do too much because, again, it's for a storm door and I don't want them to get smushed. And then for this one, I think no, I might actually use a little bit of wire so I can seep it down into the back. Here is the wreath all finished. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos or learn more about wreath making, please give me a follow, share this video, and like it. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out so much. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. I really like the pop of yellow in the bow. I think maybe on the tails, I probably could have done yellow also. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of green, but I like the green too. But I think the yellow probably would have popped more. Let me know. What do you think? The green or the yellow? I mean, it's already done. I'm not going to change it, but yeah, I think it's really cute. I think the little ladybugs really bring it to life. And if you wanted to add more, you could certainly add like these little flowers into it, but I'm not going to do that. It's super thin. So perfect for a storm door. This wreath is headed to my craft show. If it does not sell, it will be in my Etsy shop. Thank you so much. See you next time.